Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on Monday, December 16, 2024. I hope everybody's doing well. Had a good weekend. We had a lot of rain overnight, but it's a lot warmer today. It's like in the low 50s, so I'm thrilled. Although it is very soggy out there. Well, this morning there was some actually interesting news from the Institute for Justice. I'm going to play just a little clip of it, because this involves massive surveillance without anybody's permission, and Institute for Justice will be filing a lawsuit. And this has to do with a camera company called Flock, F-L-O-C-K. Evidently, these AI-powered surveillance cameras are in 5,000 cities and counting, according to the Institute for Justice. And they're not just, the street cameras or whatever, but they actually follow you 24/7. And what happens is there are certain police that are assigned to watching this Flock camera footage for their entire shift. So just to think about how they could misuse this by sharing the information with their community-based agents, sharing the information with citizens on patrol, sharing the information with family and friends, and let's say they have an ex-wife that they want to follow, or a girlfriend. I mean, it just provides the perfect stalking tool. And I'm just going to play like a little part of it for you. And then the topic for the day is going to be honeypots. So let me play this for you. Creepy AI-powered surveillance cams in 5,000 cities. Oh, what happened? It just disappeared. 1 second. Okay.
Installed 172 cameras in the city that allows them to track the entire driving population. And this is part of the largest domestic surveillance program in the entire United States.
So when you talk about that, the largest domestic surveillance program, like what does that mean?
So all of the city's cameras are feeding into an unprecedented nationwide database maintained by a tech company called Flock Safety. Flock Safety tracks people's movements in 5,000 communities across the country for 30 days at a time, and it boasts that it gets something like 1 billion plate reads per month.
So when you talk about camera tracking and it keeps track of people's movements for 30 days, I mean, are we talking about a database where you can see, oh, Jane Smith went to the grocery store and then she went to Target and then she picked up her kid from school? Are we talking about that level of granularity?
They can potentially in places like Norfolk, where there are so many cameras rather, that you can follow people from place to place, and you can make deductions like that by looking at what their routines are.
Yeah, our client Lee, for instance, one of his big problems with the cameras once he learned about them is he realized that when he got to an intersection, if he went left, they knew he was going to his daughter's school. If he went straight, he might be going to the gun range, or if he makes a right, he's going to church. And that's exactly what's so scary about these technologies, is that you can piece the individual portraits of people's lives together and get a really detailed map of what they're doing.
And just think about this for a minute, especially for targeted people. This makes it so much easier for them to follow specific people 24/7, sell the information, potentially sell the information, know exactly where you are so that they can harass you. And it's just really unbelievable. Do you remember I did a video last year about the Ring cameras? Amazon had a deal with Ring cameras that anybody that purchased the Ring cameras, the police would automatically have access to all of that footage. Well, people complained, filed lawsuits and stuff, and they shut it down. No more police ringy-dingy footage for them. They would have to have a warrant. But of course, when you are on a watch list, they have all kinds of fake warrants, right? So, I mean, this is a very long, this is like a 36-minute video. I'm only going to show you a little bit of clip. I don't want to get a copyright. But this is really important. I will post the link to this video in the description section so you can watch it in case you're not subscribed to the Institute for Justice.
So these are tracking movements, right? And not things like traffic violations or something. How does that work?
Well, often, like, everybody knows about red light cameras, speed cameras, things like that. And the big difference is just what you pointed out, that the only time they ever fire, the only time they're ever taking a picture is when there's the sense of violation of law. But these flock cameras, they're completely different. They watch 24/7. They don't care if you did anything right or did anything wrong. Doesn't matter if they have any suspicion. They record everything, and it all gets fed up into their database where the AI creates this detailed vehicle fingerprint that lets them track you everywhere you go.
And so who has access to the raw data here? Is it police? Is it anyone in the municipal government? Does Flock have unfettered access to this?
It's whoever the Norfolk Police Department decides to give access. Each Flock customer gets to regulate who can see their data. We now understand that Norfolk has actually given every Flock user access to its data. And that's all dictated by every individual police department's policy about who has access and who doesn't. In Norfolk, for instance, every uniformed officer has access. They're required to log in and stay on for their entire shifts. They need a law enforcement purpose to search the database, but the policy that the Norfolk Police Department adopted doesn't say what a law enforcement purpose is. And in practice, all they have to do is say why they're enter a reason for a search and then go at it, but no one is proactively monitoring their access.
This is really important also for, that predictive policing. When they predict the future, when they kind of set you up for future crimes, by instigating you, extortion, harassment. They want to see how you're going to respond so they can predict if you may or may not commit a crime in the future. But with this flock surveillance, it's 24/7, and somebody is literally sitting behind a desk with your tax dollars, watching, stalking people from store to store, shopping, doing things, going to the gym, meeting their friends, seeing who they hang out with.
Way that, say, a magistrate judge would
Right.
proactively monitor a search.
Right, because there's no warrant requirement for any of this, and I know we're about to talk about that, but I was struck by something that you just mentioned. You said that every user in Norfolk can track not only their data, but is it also their neighbor's data? I wasn't sure what you meant by all of the data is publicly available.
No, it's not publicly available. It's available to every Flock user.
I see. So
generally law enforcement departments across the country.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I'm going to end here and leave you on that note, and you can watch the rest of this. I want to get onto the topic of the honey traps, the honey pots, the whatever you want to call it, the traps, the honey traps. But this is very important because police are logging in to these flock surveillance systems that are being set up all over the country now. It just happens that in Norfolk, Virginia, I believe there's a military base around there too. Norfolk, Virginia, they have the largest surveillance cams in the country right now. So this is a problem. This is going to set a precedence, very much like the Ring cameras. But Ring cameras are very different in that the Ring cameras were surveillance cameras purchased by homeowners. And Amazon gave police blanket permission to utilize their camera footage at will. When people found out about it, they filed lawsuits. They got that shut down, although I guarantee that they're still doing it. But now they need a warrant to access camera footage. You just can't randomly say, you know what, I'm just going to check out that Ring camera footage of that targeted person down the block, right? So anyway, I thought it was really interesting. I'm very interested to see how this lawsuit progresses, and I I have the utmost faith and confidence that the Institute for Justice will not only expose it, but win the case, just the way they did with the Ring camera footage across the United States. But anyway, so, honey trap. What's a honey trap? Well, it's sort of like what this little kitty cat is doing. You know, this little innocent black cat here has a beautifully wrapped gift. And the gift is right underneath the birdhouse, right? And, you know, cats generally like to catch birds, you know? They don't like to eat them or whatever. They like to play with them until they just suddenly don't move anymore, you know? They're not fun anymore when they don't move. So this cute little cat is like honey trapping the bird and saying, like, come out, little birdie, I've got this sweet little gift for you. But of course, you know, when the bird comes out, guess what's going to happen? So anyway, honey trap is a manipulative tactic. And I went to AI and I said, could you tell me about the honey trap? What are the characteristics in gang stalking and organized harassment? I want to teach people about this entrapment tactic. Here's the response. The honey trap is a manipulative tactic often used to deceive, control, or exploit a target by luring them into compromising situations through romantic or sexual allure. But I'm just going to add that in the event that there are no romantic or sexual allures, you know, for instance, like where I live in the middle of nowhere where there's absolutely no one within like hours that I would be remotely interested in, they set up different types of honey traps here. What they do is they set up people to bring me food or animals. You know, like chickens with a broken leg, little baby chicks, you know, a cute little hen, food, you know, apples and stuff like that. So within the context of gang stalking or organized harassment, the honey trap can be a significant entrapment method designed to gather compromising information, isolate the target, or manipulate their emotions and actions. Here's an overview of the characteristics and how it is used in these contexts. And if my voice sounds a little weird, like in the back of my throat, it's because the back of my throat and the left side of my tongue has been targeted for weeks. It is making it difficult for me to form words accurately the way I normally would. Characteristics of the honey trap in gang stalking and organized harassment. 1. Emotional manipulation. The target is approached by someone who feigns romantic or sexual interest. And I'll say that they'll feign that, oh, I just found a kitten. It doesn't have a mother. Or I just found a cat. Or, oh, it's out here all by itself. Or, oh, I think your cat is up my tree. The manipulator may mirror the target's likes, dislikes, vulnerabilities, and build trust. Flattery, charm, and emotional intimacy are used to disarm the target. Number 2, entrapment through compromise. The target may be encouraged to engage in behaviors they would otherwise avoid, such as infidelity, financial mishaps, or illegal activities. These actions are often documented covertly to use against the target later, creating a blackmail opportunity. Oh, you mean like leaving poopy diapers in front of my driveway and my moving it to the county road? Well, you know what? I just picked it up. I was going to DNA test it. I looked at the price and it's like, you know what? I'm not going to waste my money. I'm just going to throw it in the trash. It's today's trash pickup day. But the next time trash is placed on my property anywhere, guess who's going to be receiving? The recipient will be. I will bring it straight to the sheriff's department. And he can go locate the individual who did it. Number 3, isolation. The manipulator may work to isolate the target from friends, family, and support networks. False accusations or triangulation can create distrust between the target and their loved ones. Triangulation meaning Tri meaning three. So it would be the target, another person, the instigator, and then another a third person, like a family member or a loved one. Number 4, surveillance and information gathering. The honey trap is often a cover for gathering sensitive information about the target's habits, preferences, and weaknesses. Conversations and interactions may be recorded to compile evidence or to study the target's vulnerabilities. Number 5, psychological manipulation. Once the trust is gained, the manipulator may gaslight the target, making them question their perception of reality. They may plant false narratives or create scenarios to destabilize the target emotionally and mentally. I'll give you a quick example. So the honey trap person here, that the animal giver, I'm just going to call her Jezebel for now. I'm not going to reveal her name. I'm just going to call her Jezebel. So the Jezebel animal giver, she after she gave me some baby chicks, this is a couple of years ago, she loaned me an animal feeder. I actually photographed it upon arrival because it was in perfect condition. I just wanted to make sure that while I had it, that it wasn't damaged. You know how all the criminals around here, they like to damage all my feeders, all the pet beds, everything related to the chickens and the pets, the cats. I photographed it. Well, lo and behold, overnight it was damaged. Yes, it was damaged. It was damaged inside of the chicken coop. Yes, so somebody went into the chicken coop and damaged this green feeder. So I photographed it, and I sent her the photograph, and I said, I apologize, I'll give you a new one. It was vandalized. She said, no, don't you remember? I told you that it was old and it was damaged. It's like, no, it was new. I photographed it and it wasn't damaged. I didn't say that to her. I just let her lie, right? I just let her lie. So I caught her in one of the first lies. Well, there's so many. One of the first lies. So she gaslighted me by telling me that the green feeder that she gave me was already damaged when it wasn't. Okay? So the manipulator may gaslight the target, make them question their perceptions of reality, and they may plant false narratives to create scenarios to destabilize the target emotionally and mentally. Number 6, character assassination. Information or footage gathered through the honey trap is often used to smear the target's reputation. It may also be used to portray the target as untrustworthy, unstable, or immoral to others. So that's what's been done around here for sure. Character assassination. Telling people that I don't pay people. Really? I've already gone through this right in my other videos. But from what I understand, my neighbors next door, they still have a mortgage and they haven't paid their property taxes. At least, see, here in Jackson County, when you don't pay your property taxes, it gets listed in the local newspaper. So you have a chance to pay the property taxes. And if you don't, somebody else can pay for them and steal your property. Yeah, that's the way it works around here. They're really into land grabs around here, even if it's only $90. Yeah. So coordination with a larger network. In organized harassment, the honey trap is rarely an isolated effort. Like, they don't think up these things on their own. It may be part of a broader campaign involving multiple actors who work in tandem to undermine the target. Number 8, bait and betrayal. The initial sweetness of the honey trap eventually gives way to betrayal, as the manipulator uses the target's trust against them. This betrayal often leaves the target feeling humiliated, paranoid, or mistrusting of others. Well, it actually did not leave me feeling humiliated, paranoid, or mistrusting of others. Only of this individual. Because they're all in on it. Once you realize that they're all in on it, and this really isn't, so this one woman who's not like the others. She doesn't like the other Scarlet group. She doesn't like the Mary and John Perky group. She doesn't fit into their group, but nevertheless, she is still a stalker. Okay? She's the one that would just show up out of the blue. Oh, just bring me a piece of food. You know, all the sweetness and sweetness. Buying me the perfect gifts wrapped so nicely. And then the last time she actually gave me a gift, it was one of those rewrap gifts with the price tag still on it. It wasn't even wrapped. It was just thrown in a bag. So typically not like her. Right? So typically not like her. So you can tell that that was the ends of the relationship. You know, they give you the clues. That's the ends of the relationship. So how to recognize and protect yourself against the honey trap? Well, awareness is the first thing. Understand that overly eager or convenient romantic advances, especially from strangers, may be suspect. You know, or when people come onto your property and say, hey, I've got these cute little baby chicks, do you want some? Or, hey, I've got this beautiful white hen. And then, of course, forget to tell me that it's a meat hen and that it grew so overweight that it eventually died. I wasn't going to kill it. You know, I don't eat meat. I wasn't going to kill it. And then I'm told, like, literally months later that, oh, do you know that that's a meat hen? Like, what the hell is a meat hen? Oh, they're the kinds that they just grow really big and then you have to unalive them. It's like, okay, she's my pet. Look for inconsistencies in their stories or behaviors. Oh, so many. So many. Too many to name. Documentation. Keep records of interactions, especially if you suspect manipulation. Trust your instincts if something feels off. And note down suspicious events. You know, like the popular one. The poopy diaper girl. The poopy nurse. Poopynurse.com. Support networks. Stay connected to trusted friends, family, and support groups who can help provide perspective. And that's why we build community here, why we talk about these things, why we present evidence, while people like David A. interview people so that we can share our testimony stories, etc. Stay connected. If someone is attempting to isolate you, it may be a red flag of manipulation. Well, ha ha ha. For all the targeted people out there, please give a thumbs up. Are you being isolated? Are you trying to be isolated from your family and friends and from other targeted people? Hit the thumbs up. It's definitely a red flag that you're being manipulated. Educate others. Teaching people about the honey trap involves sharing these characteristics, providing examples, and encouraging vigilance. Emphasize the importance of emotional resilience, critical thinking, and self-protection. And by teaching others about the honey trap, you can help others recognize and resist this form of manipulation, particularly in contexts where it is part of a broader pattern of harassment and control. So AI says, let me know if you would like additional resources or materials for your teaching efforts. Don't you love AI? That's so accommodating, right? So I said, sure, yeah, I do. So I've got a handout. I've got it that I can send as an attachment, but I'll read it to you. I've got a new handout, The Honey Trap, Recognizing and Protecting Against Manipulation. The honey trap is a deceptive tactic where someone uses charm, romantic, or sexual allure to manipulate the target. And in the context of gang stalking and organized harassment, the honey trap is designed to gather information, entrap the target in compromising situations, and undermine the target's credibility in relationships. And then it goes on to provide me the key characteristics of a honey trap, the common scenarios of a honey trap, how to recognize a honey trap. excessive interest, inconsistencies, isolation attempts, pushing boundaries, frequent monitoring, and then how to protect yourself by staying grounded, setting boundaries, verify their intentions. Document suspicious activities, trust your instincts, maintain a support network. And what do you do if you suspect a honey trap? Disengage immediately. Seek advice, increase security, report it. Well, good luck with reporting it. Empower yourselves and others. And so I have 2 resources. And this is a book that I haven't read yet. It's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin D.E. Becker. And then there's a book by Susan Forward called Emotional Blackmail. There are websites, the National Center for Victims of Crime, and then the Psychology Today magazine has various articles and stuff, and you can find them online. There are also hotlines and support groups for guidance and assistance, which I generally don't recommend. So anyway, I look forward to your questions and comments. Have you experienced the honey trap? The honey trap, the honey pot, the honey trap? Have you had a manipulative person try to charm you with their sexuality or their food or pet gifts? Please leave a comment down below. I look forward to hearing from you guys.